Hello, Dr. Blue here. A few weeks ago I reached the incredible milestone of getting over 500 subscribers. Yet again, thank you so much guys who have subscribed. And to celebrate, I basically said, send me questions that you'd like me to answer, and I'll try my best to answer them in a Q&A video. And today's the day where I do it. Hope you enjoy. Luigi Puma asks, which Doctor did you first watch? Thank you, Luigi, for your question. The first Doctor I watched was the 9th Doctor in the Empty Child two-parter, though I think it was only part 1, so the Empty Child, not the Doctor Dances. I saw it in my school. We were having a film day where everyone brought in DVDs of films and programmes that they wanted to show everyone. And someone in my class thought it would be a really good idea to bring in The Empty Child, and I think I sort of vaguely knew about what Doctor Who was at this point, but I was never really interested in it, to be honest. I think I was too young back then. And they put it on, and I was absolutely terrified of The Empty Child. So yeah, that was my first Doctor. Sorry for rambling there. Oh my god, this name is so long. Pablo Alonso Gonzalez Villaseno, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. They ask, favourite Doctor and favourite series? Thank you very much, Pablo, for your questions. Very good questions, if I do say so myself. Favourite Doctor, without a doubt, is David Tennant. He was my first Doctor, and I just found him so likeable. He was so charismatic. You could just really connect with him, I found. I really wanted to be like him, and I think he's part of the reason that I gel my hair up, to be honest. Although I haven't done that today. And yeah, I just love the guy. So much so that I've followed every single programme and film he's done ever since, really. And then as for favourite series, hard one, but I would have to say Series 4. This was the first series I watched live, basically, because it was the end of Series 3 that I became a fan. Obviously it's not a perfect series, but it's damn well close to being one. Like, if you look at the second half of the series, for instance, so I'm on about episodes 8 through to the series finale, 13, I find those stories, it's probably the best run of episodes we've ever had. I just think they're practically flawless, and every single story has something unique to it, and it's just really good. And obviously it's got David Tennant in it, so... And Catherine Tate, just... She completely owned the role of companion. Just her and David playing off together. Oh, beautiful. I have no idea how to say this name. Legothian? Sorry if that pronunciation is completely terrible. But anyway, this YouTuber asks, what's your favourite Doctor Who episode? Also, are you into other sci-fi shows like Star Trek or something similar? Right, so I'll do the favourite Doctor Who episode question first. This is a really difficult question to answer, obviously, because there's so many good Doctor Who episodes out there, but I think right now it has to be Midnight. I just think it's a brilliant story. It goes to show that you don't always need a massive budget to be able to make a really good, terrifying tale. The creature, I think, is brilliant, how you never get to see what it is, and it's just concept, like playing on the idea of that school game where you just, well, it's not even a school game, it's just kids being annoying, copying whatever everyone else says, and yeah, and then even taking it to the next level where it goes from copying to talking at the same time, and then really eerily towards the end actually stealing your words and talking before you. Yeah, this episode I just think is great, and it's one of the few times I feel like the Doctor is actually in genuine danger, which is really good. David Tennant acts his socks off in it, and oh, I could talk all day about Midnight. As for other sci-fi shows, I don't think I'm watching many at the moment. Obviously I've seen all the spin-offs like Torchwood, The Sarah Jane Adventures and Class. All of them I've liked. Primeval, I used to watch back in the day. What else was a sci-fi? Misfits. Have I got anything up there? Being Human. That was on BBC Three before it went online only. Yeah. So, quite a lot of sci-fi. I've never really been into Star Trek. I like the films, the new films they've done, like the Hollywood reboots. But yeah, I've never really been into Star Trek as a series. Thank you very much for your questions. Doctor Who Fan Audio Adventures asks many questions, so thank you very much for that. I'll go through them in a speed round. Favourite pizza topping? Anything meat related? Your least liked villain? Probably the Scribble Monster from Fear Her. That was just terrible. DC or Marvel? Definitely Marvel. Besides Who, what's your favourite show? At the moment, I'm quite into my Daredevil at the moment on Netflix, just to plug it. What's your dream TARDIS team? 12th Doctor and either Captain Jack or Donna. Opinions on Adric? I don't really know much about him, so meh. Opinions on Trump? Hate him. Would you rather have pizza or burgers? Definitely pizza. Damian Huber Cunningham asks, what was it that drew you to the show? Was it one thing or more than one? Thank you very much, Damian, for your question. So many things drew me to the show. Just looking at the first episode I watched, in particular, that was Utopia. What kept me watching the whole episode was the fact that this time machine, this police box, had gone from present-day Cardiff all the way to the end of the universe, and I was just really interested to see what the end of the universe looked like in terms of this fictional show. Also, the character of the Doctor, in the guise of the 10th Doctor, I just found him really intriguing, and throughout the rest of Series 3, because that's when I became a fan, I watched Utopia and then the rest of the series, then I went back, just to learn bits about the Doctor's backstory, like seeing the Master and how they were good friends back in the day, and then ever since I first saw this scene, it always stood out. The bit in The Sound of Drums, where the Doctor's just sat there with Martha and Captain Jack, talking about Gallifrey, and the This Is Gallifrey soundtrack is playing in the background. Beautiful scene, I should say, but yeah, that just really intrigued me, and I was like, oh, okay, so the Doctor's lost his home planet. Why has he lost it? Why is he the last of the Time Lords? I was just really interested to learn more about that, which is why I carried on watching. And yeah, it was, and also the obvious point, just the fact that every episode you could go to a different place. 1 minute you could be at the end of the universe, and then the next you could be, where was he in the Christmas special? Victorian London. And so yeah, you could go to the past, go to the future, present day, you could just visit various locations. I just thought that was really cool, and the programme seemed awesome, so that's what drew me to the show. YouTube Gallifrey02 asks, have you seen every episode of Doctor Who? No, but I would very much like to. It's only recently that I've got into the classic episodes. Obviously I've seen every single episode of the Revival series, but yeah, it's only been in this past year, actually not even that, the past 6 months, that I've actually gone back to the classics and bought a few of the DVDs. And actually, seeing as we're in the house that has the DVDs in, as of right now, these do not fall. These are the classic DVDs that I have. So I know this isn't exactly what you asked, but I'll show them off anyway. So the first 3 stories, Genesis of the Daleks, obviously, Terror of the Zygons, The 5 Doctors, and Survival. Right now I haven't actually finished watching all of them yet. I think I'm in the middle of the Daleks story from this box set. But yeah, so I'm hoping eventually, when I've got more time, I can watch all them and then go to more classic stories and eventually be able to see as many Doctor Who episodes as possible. D. Stas Silva asks, would you marry me? In the words of the great Christopher Eccleston,
buy me a drink first.
Slimmy007 asks, if you could pick one Doctor and one companion that never travel together to go on one adventure, who would you pick and what would the story be? Thank you very much, Slimmy, for your question. It's a very good one. I would have to say the 12th Doctor and either Donna or Captain Jack. I just think, in the case of Donna, the sass would be off the charts and the banter would just be immense. I think both Peter Capaldi and Catherine Tate would play off each other really well, and the stories would just be hilarious. And a similar thing with Captain Jack, really. As for the story, I'm not that creative, so I can't really think of a story, but I would just say, as long as they're together, any story would just flourish and thrive, and it would just be incredible. Pal Rocks asks, who's your favourite showrunner, Davies or Moffat, or who do you think made it better? Thank you very much for your question. Personally, for me, Russell T Davies is the best showrunner. I just think the fact he brought back the show in the first place was incredible, and it must have been really difficult to get it up and running. And also, he made it more family orientated, more drama, more of a family drama, which is why when the show came back, it became more popular than it ever was before with the classic series. And yeah, I really liked that spin on it. And the fact that it wasn't just the companion who had more of a backstory, but their families as well. Like, for example, in Series 1 and Series 2, you haven't just got Rose, who has got this whole backstory behind her, but her boyfriend Mickey and her mum Jackie, all three-dimensional characters who you feel like they're real people. And it made Doctor Who more of a real show, really, not just the sci-fi that it's all fictional. Yeah, and also that's when I started watching the show. It was during Davies' era, so it's always had an impact on me. And then Moffat is okay, but it's his series arcs. Besides Series 5, I'm not really a fan of them. It's all he overcomplicates it a bit, and we've got less of the families now. We've got less of the backstory behind the companions. You just have to look at Clara, the most recent companion before Bill, and you'll see what I'm on about. Yeah, so that's my answer. I think Russell T Davies for the win. Kat Som asks, what do you think about the possibility to launch the next Doctor as a woman? Yay or nay? And here's the controversial question. Personally, I don't think the Doctor should be a woman. Not because I'm sexist, but because I think, just like you wouldn't have a female James Bond or a male Mary Poppins, the Doctor, which is a character who's been male for over 50 years, should not change gender just because in recent years stories have implied Time Lords can switch their gender. That's sort of my thinking. And basically what my sentiments are, I feel like Stephen Moffat is trying way too hard to force the idea of a female Doctor. And because yeah, if you look back before his era, see how many times it's ever mentioned that a Time Lord can change gender, or yeah, no, just look for that, because I think it's either none or very rarely. I do think a female Doctor could work, and there's many actresses who would play the part really well, But I just feel like if it's done now, for instance, with the 13th Doctor, it's just going to be ticking boxes. It's just going to be pleasing people who think you're sexist if you don't want the Doctor to be female. You're not sexist if you don't want the Doctor to be female. It's just a matter of what the character is, and yeah, I won't get much more into it, because maybe one day I'll do a proper video explaining it, but I just think the Doctor's always been a male. The debate's only been brought up because Stephen Moffat's trying to make it so. It could work. Oh, and that's another thing. I can't help but think if the Doctor did become a woman, less people would watch the show. And I know you should never do things based on that, but I don't want the show to get cancelled. Oh, I love this name. The Exploding Bacon asks, what do you use to make your videos, recording, editing, etc.? Well, Exploding Bacon, I shall show you. So in terms of recording the video, what I use is literally just my phone camera. I have a Samsung Galaxy S3, and the camera's not the best, but it's good enough. And then to keep the camera still, because obviously you can probably pick up it's shaking a bit at the moment, especially when I move my hands like this, I use a tripod, which hopefully you can see down there. So I just stick it in there, and then I'm good to go. And then as for recording, what I use is a cool program called Sony Vegas. And as you can see, I'm currently editing the video. So we've got a nice bit of video editing of the video inside the video itself going on. And yeah, it's a good program. Not really aware of many myself, but this is simple enough, easy to use, and it does the job. Awesome Guy asks, have you read a Doctor Who novel? Thank you for your question. I've read many novels, in fact. Quite a lot of them are up there, actually. Some of the ones that I've really enjoyed reading include... Get these three out. This is the most recent one I've read, The Crawling Terror. I think that's the only... No, sorry, I was going to say that's the only Peter Capaldi one I've read. I've read, what's it called, The Blood Cell as well. Both books, very good, would highly recommend. And then I went through a phase of reading loads of David Tennant novels. These are probably my favourite too. So, yes I have. I've read many Doctor Who novels. Pipple, one of the two, I don't know, sorry about pronunciation. They ask, what are some Doctor Who episodes that you dislike, and what would you do to make them better? Very good question, thank you very much. I'll name three, because there's quite a few episodes that I dislike, and this video will go on for even longer if I go through all of them. So we'll say Hellbent, In the Forest of the Night, and Fear Her. In the Forest of the Night, I would get rid of that awful ending where the sister that's been missing for however long she's been missing for makes the stupid decision to hide behind, is it a bush? And why? You've been missing, why not? Why continue hiding? Oh, just stupid girl. Yeah, so that's how I'd fix In the Forest of the Night, even though it has more problems extending just beyond the final scene. Hellbent, I would remove Clara from that episode. Don't get me wrong, I love Clara, but she had such a good ending in Face the Raven, and for Stephen Moffat to bring her back in the finale was just stupid, and it wasn't even worth it in the end. You had a brilliant story hiding there about Gallifrey and the Doctor versus the Time Lords, and yet Stephen Moffat chose not to focus on that, and instead focus on Clara and the Doctor trying to bend the rules of time to keep her alive, and that just made the episode terrible, in my opinion. And you might be able to tell, but I get quite angry at Hellbent, because I think Series 9 is a really good series, and then right at the end you've just got this naff episode. And then as for Fear Her, I would just wipe that off the face of the earth. And I think that's about it. Thank you very much for watching this very long video. Well done if you've made it all the way through to the end. And thank you very much to everyone who sent in a question, or several, because obviously I wouldn't have been able to do this video if I didn't have questions. So thank you so much for that. It's been really good fun to make, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, comment down below, and stick around because I shall see you in my next video.